AI is in the thick of things for all the wrong reasons lately. And let us try and understand from asking panelists how AI can be effectively used for the software testing industry. Right. So I just have a generic question starting first. So I mean to all the panelists, we'll start with Madhav, Amlesh, and then Gaurav in that order. So yeah, the first question is what is meant by intelligent testing, and how can AI be effectively integrated into the traditional testing processes? So yeah, we start with Madhav first.
Thank you, Bhavin. And thanks, Nasscom, for inviting us to speak on this panel. When we talk about AI adoption, right? Before I start elaborating further on the topic, I want to make a perception synchronization. Because everyone, when they talk about AI, they will start thinking about Gen AI. And in QA space, there are small components. Then let us call Gen AI the super smart AI, and others are the smart AI. So QA industry has adopted a lot of other smaller intelligent component, which are also artificial intelligence in nature, yeah, because they are helping in increasing the effectiveness, increasing the productivity of people. So when we are going to, I am going to at least talk, we will be covering those are intelligent components as well as the some of the benefits that new generation Gen AI is offering. Right. However, when we delve into this topic, we need to understand a couple of aspects. One is we need to look at, first of all, organizational maturity level. Okay. So organizations are generally, when we say an organization and end user organization who is actually adopting the testing. So for the simplicity's sake, let us say the components such as test assets, maturity of tech use, maturity of the people. So these components, the maturity of these component varies from organization to organization. So lower maturity organization, probably there will not be too many of test assets, reusable test assets, right? People might not be trained enough. Whereas the high maturity organization would go for the integrated approach, is a very highly trained people. So for the simplicity purpose, let us say low maturity organization as level 1 and high maturity organization at level 5. Why I am dividing these organizations into different level is because when we say adoption of AI component, the effectiveness of it varies, because overall organizational maturity also plays a lot of role in this adoption and absorption of these AI components, right?
Right.
So one aspect of looking at adoption is which level of maturity your organization is, right? Early adoption of or too much of investment into one particular technology without having sufficient infrastructure for other things, like you buy a super smart tool, but your people are not trained. So then you may end up into wasting money. Absolutely. That's why adoption should be as per your maturity cycle. Right. Now, in order to understand how to integrate AI into various processes of QA, we need to, let us say, briefly break the QA process itself. So let's say requirement understanding, then test scenario creation, the test cases and test data creations, the testing and reporting, broad categorization, and challenges and use of AI in each of them is different, right? Like in requirement understanding for QA, insufficiency of domain knowledge is always remained a challenge. The test coverage is another biggest issue in test scenario generation, where the coverage of testing is not sufficient. Right. Now, if you look at how AI components can help in overcoming these issues, right, and how to integrate. So, the latest technologies such as Gen AI, right, can definitely help in plugging the gap of business domain knowledge, insufficiency of domain knowledge in QA industry. So this Gen AI can help in reducing that. That can be definitely adopted into requirement understanding level. Even test coverage, Gen AI can help in plugging the test coverage level loopholes as well. Right. The other traditional AIs such as low code, no code, codeless automation, basically codeless automation, or maybe self-healing automations, right? Then risk-based testing models. Then you can say environment virtualization. These are kind of traditional AI we call, and
Yeah,
right. So this intelligent component can definitely help in reducing the maintenance cost, increasing the efficiency of execution, right?
that's great. That's great.
So, like again, when you adopt this, depending on your maturity, which I covered in the
Yeah,
beginning, the effectiveness of this tool will vary from organization. Higher maturity
organization.
organization will be able to reap the benefits much better than the lower
Correct.
maturity organization. One thing which I want to highlight, these tools, the Gen AIs, can help you in accelerating the maturity cycle.
Yeah,
So if
that's a very
traditionally you
important
may
point
take nine
actually.
months
Yeah,
to 10
yeah,
months to reach from one maturity to another maturity, but if you adopt
correct.
this technology, you can increase the speed of
Absolutely.
maturity, right?
Agree. Agree.
Yeah. So these are my
Great.
thoughts on
That's great. That
integrating.
was a very elaborate kind of response to the answer. And I think people would have loved to get an entire insight on how intelligent testing can be used in the traditional software
Correct.
testing processes. Yeah, Madhav, coming back to you. So you briefly highlighted the challenges that organizations face, right, when implementing AI in their life cycle, right? And you mentioned that organizations also, I mean, depending on the level of organization, the procedures change and the components change as well. So I wanted to ask you, what are the potential security concerns or risks associated with using AI in testing? I mean, and how they can be addressed effectively across the life cycle?
Right. See, uh, the traditional components which we use for the productivity improvement,
Hmm.
such as no code, self-healing, library analyzer, or maybe reporting tool. These are now quite
Yeah,
established technologies, right? And everyone knows what is going to be the output and what is
yeah,
the result of those technology use. So largely the concern of security is not related to all AI components, related to
okay.
Gen AI primarily. So whatever
Hmm.
we hear in market in general perception is concern related to Gen AI. And
Hmm.
if I look at it, is not actually a QA or security concern. It's a general concern. Everyone,
General concept.
because people right now, technical people may be
Hmm.
knowing how it works, but general people, even in
Yeah,
business side, they don't know what is the technology and how it is functioning behind, right?
correct.
And that is creating actually trust issue. It's more of a trust issue rather than security issue. Security issue is an outcome. If the components are not used properly, if you let's say if you rely 100% on AI generated output right now, it may result into security issue. But
Right.
but it is not only security issue. It's more to do with trust issue with the technology, right? Wherever
Right.
at in our clients, whenever we are talking about adopting Gen AI in test life cycle,
Hmm.
the concern that is coming is related to confidentiality rather than security, because they don't
Security.
want
Yeah.
to at the moment they don't want to trust on it, right?
Right. Right.
So my take will be like these technologies, right, have effectiveness of 60% to 90% depending on maturity of an organization, how you have adopted, right?
Right.
So using them as assistant would reduce the concern and would increase the trust level
Hmm.
rather than
Okay.
using it 100% as the and anyway technology is not evolved to depend 100%, right?
Correct.
So security would be a kind of an outcome of the over reliance. But if you do a right mix of usage along with manual human control, then it can be a very good assistant.
Madhav, just to come back to you, I mean, anything on the cost implications of implementing AI? I mean, can you throw some light on it? How can organizations probably optimize the investments for maximum ROI?
Right, right. See, in terms of cost, as I told you, not only AI, but uh, any technology, if
Yeah,
it is implemented uh, smartly, and if it is implemented right fit into your organization, then it is the optimum investment return that you can generate. But at the same time, the components on which you need to implement is very important. You can't just spend money on technology and not invest anything on process improvements,
Of
right?
course.
Or not investing anything on people for that matter,
Yeah.
right? So investment is needed in technology that you are adopting, processes that you are implementing, right? So that sufficient feedback loop is created for the purpose of optimizing other processes also. And the people, investment in people is also very important. Now, the tools and processes are something where you invest, they will mature and they will stay with you. But
Yeah.
the last aspect, people, when you invest and they mature, then they leave you. So the investment again needs to repeat.
Mm.
That is where the fourth aspect of investment come in. And organizations should invest during this type of phases where the new technology shift is happening, right? Investing in right partner is very important, because that right partner will help in balancing the changes in all three components that I talked about, right?
Yes.
At the same time, investment needs to be measured also from business impact perspective. So if investment in AI components are not helping or cannot help in reducing tickets at the end of the day, then that needs to be analyzed and needs to be relooked at it, right? If it is
Yes.
not helping in reducing the TAT, then whether it is AI or traditional AI components I call for QA, they need to be looked at it, right? So
Absolutely.
all the investment at the end of the day should be looked at from a business perspective, right?
Yeah.
Of course, there are certain smaller perspective of calculating return on investment, like increased test coverages, increased productivity. But at the end of this, all this, it should result into business benefit in terms of either reduced tickets, and or it can be reduce the TAT, because finally QA should not become bottleneck, or any technology should not become bottleneck. It should
Absolutely.
accelerate
Absolutely.
these processes of go live, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense. Madhav briefly mentioned about people, right? At the end of the day, it's the people that help in the intelligent testing or whatever AI tools come to the fore, right? It's the people that help. So I wanted to throw a random question to all of you guys. Take your views on that. So for organizations who want to foray into the intelligent testing space right now, using AI, of course, from your experience, what strategies and best practices should organizations, and maybe Gaurav and
Yeah.
Amlish can pitch in?
So for implementing successful AI or intelligent testing, right? Generally, it doesn't limit only to people. So I will give a broader view rather than just limiting the implementation strategy to only one aspect of it, right? So right tool, like Amlesh said, even Gaurav also mentioned, adopting the right tools
Yeah.
and right processes and the right people as per your maturity cycle. Preponing investment into too much high tech will make smart QA over smart QA. So we need to be aware of that. That okay, it is rightly smart, so that
Absolutely.
it can generate the business results at the end of the day, right?
Okay.
And adopt second strategy, adoption of AI, which can help you in accelerating the maturity cycle. So if high maturity organization has access and resources for, let us say, top class engineers, top class business analysts and all, and if you are at level 3 or level 2, adopt AI along with your engineers and take them to higher maturity, right? So,
Absolutely.
and an engineer assisted by Gen AI,
Technology. Yeah.
right kind of bot of the Gen AI, which can help in plugging the gaps of domains, plugging the gaps of code quality, plugging the gaps of self-healing of the code, right? That can help in accelerating the maturity. And the third aspect is, or when you are implementing all these things, you need to have macro metrics and micro metrics both. So that at macro metrics, like Amlesh just said, that if CTO is expecting everything product to be ready in 3 hours time, and if tester is going to take 3 days, right, then it's not
Absolutely.
going to work whatever technology you, because product has to go live at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Agree.
Right. So having a macro business view, and then for increasing the feedback loop, you also need to have micro metrics in place. That's the implementation level strategy one can adopt. And the fourth aspect I already said is that since this is evolving space, right? Having the right partner with you can help you in reducing the errors in decisions.